Okay, mate, let's talk about those players who tend to hit blocks and hooks and the correlation between that and where their upper body is coming into impact. We just did a great video talking about this drill that gives the feeling of rotating without unloading the wrists. But let's talk about the chest itself and the shoulders and how open they should be at the moment of impact relative to this player here who struggles with their blocks and hooks.
Yeah, that player there's chest is pointed behind the ball. Really solid players, their chest is going to be generally anywhere from 10 degrees open all the way out to over 40 degrees open I've seen on with tour players. So it can be a lot, and those are matched up based on some face conditions and grip and things. But they are some amount open.
So we would see that a lot of PGA Tour players, if this is, let's say, the zero line, hips would be, let's say, approximately this number without getting too much into the specifics, or this look of the hips here.
Yes.
And the chest, really using this golf club here as a reference, guys, would be extending forward. We would see the shoulder line, for those who are wondering, would kind of be around square or slightly open, but the chest does obviously separate from that, is going to be more forward.
Yes, it's more open.
And then the player who would hit the blocks and hooks would be back to it.
So a drill we use very often is we use a long PVC pipe here. If I put it across my chest so it's long enough so I can reach out and hit that bucket with it. If I'm a player who struggles with this kind of a pattern, I can't even get to the bucket. It's like it hurts, not going to get there. So what we work on is feeling the pivot continue to rotate all the way through so we can hit the bucket with our turn.
And as you do that once more, guys. I want you to pay close attention to Milo's pressure in his feet and how his foot looks here. You can see it's moving to the outstep and also more towards the heel as he begins to rotate. And that's a natural effect of the way that his body is moving, his hips rotating around the corner is shifting the pressure back there as well.
For sure. This wouldn't quite be an impact position. This would be a little beyond impact for what our body is doing, but we're moving through impact. Impact would look a little bit more here, something like that. But you can still see my chest is pointed forward of the ball somewhere.
And translating this into a feel for players, right, after they've gotten a reference, they can pretty much use, let's say, they could get even a drive that's probably long enough if they hold it across their chest like that to be able to reach something out in front of them. But let's just say, imagine there's a big spotlight coming out of the chest. Whereabouts would they want to see that spotlight at the moment that they're trying to achieve this drill and get that impact of hitting that PVC on that?
Should be pointing out here somewhere. And I like to limit how much the player's side bending. If they side bend too much, that would be, now you're matching your rotation to your side bend a little bit better.
So if I was struggling with this closed off look, I can see that I'm not even
you can't get to the bucket
anywhere close. And I really like the fact that as I do come through here, it does encourage me to stay in my side bend, because we would see a lot of players, they might do this drill at home and they'll get into this sort of position here, maybe get a little bit lazy, and they go, well, look, my chest is open, but they're not really correlating that to where they would be through the golf ball to build that feel.
Correct.
Okay. So what do you recommend players do in terms of like a training protocol for this, a bit of a plan? How many of these little practice movements, getting the stick here, hitting the back of the bucket a couple of times before they go ahead and hit a shot?
I don't necessarily have a protocol for it. We use it a lot just for a feel, just to give them something new, because a lot of times they're like, oh, that's different. And so once they feel that, then I start applying like the split grip drill we just did, because this is the same pivot, just now with a club in hand, and then gradually working the hands back together. So that's kind of how I do it.
Those drills and exercises along each other. Now, this is certainly something that I do struggle with a little bit in my golf swing, so I can feel a huge difference there as I follow through into this impact position. Nice little bit of right side bend here. You can see my chest is nice and open. And then if I have that golf club in my hands, we can see that would start to look very close to their favorite player back at home there. So let's move this out of the way. That's certainly enough golf balls to last a lifetime. And then I'll hit one down there. I'm just going to get that sensation once more of just the feel, imagining where the big spotlight on my chest would be at that moment of impact, nice and forward, kind of almost visualizing if I did have that pipe still across my shoulders there, of what that feel would then relate to as I go ahead. Definitely through the ball there, Milo. doesn't feel like I'm going to unload and throw my wrists at it very much.
Nope.
Whatsoever.
That sensation goes away.
Perfect. All right, let's go into this nice and open through the moment of impact.
Thanks for watching this video. YouTube thinks that you would benefit from watching this one next. So click that card and it could be the tip that you need to take your game to the next level. I'll see you next time.